from the Dukascopy TV studio in Geneva, I'm Daniel Schwenger. Alongside me to discuss private equity investments in higher education is Ms. Oksana Malysheva. She is a partner at the Hamilton White Group in New York and the Linden Group in Chicago. And she is also a board member at the University of Business and International Studies in Geneva. Hello, Oksana.
Hi, great to be here.
Oksana, can you outline the concept of private equity investments in higher education? What is the potential of that, and what fields are you investing in?
I often get the comment that investing in higher education is somewhat unorthodox way to deploy the investment capital. But if you think about this and you look at any country and the gross domestic product of that country, you will see that education inevitably at the top of the list in terms of where the countries are investing in a big portion of the GDP. So it's actually quite natural that at some point or the other, the private equity investment and private capital will come to that industry. Within that, you could support the schools and you could invest in schools, which is a novel concept because people typically think about university as something that had been in existence forever and is somewhat stodgy, very traditional. Things do not change there quickly, which is quite at odds with what private equity and venture capital are known for on the one hand. On the other hand, you could invest in various technologies that support the higher education, will make it more efficient. If you think about things that will, the way you learn, even if you look at how kids learn, all of the little apps, all of the little support systems, the data that could help professors assess how well their students are learning, what is sinking in versus what not, trying to assess who is cheating, who is not, trying to figure out how to help students stay in school better. There are a lot of modern and very interesting technologies that come to the help of the traditional education. And so as a result, there are various fields you could go in many directions in education. What unifies all of them, and this is one of the reasons I like to stay in the field, is this is absolutely one of the fields where you could do well and do good. And I think that is very important to me, and that is also very important to the investors that have entrusted our companies with their money.
And so what could be the potential benefits for investors investing in higher education?
If we do our job well, and we try that every day, depending upon the company and the situation, things are a little bit different. If you, with the money, could generate a nice investment return, but also you've created something very nice, that our investors like that. Most of the people have invested with both Hamilton White Group and Linden. They are very established professionals. A lot of them had come from very humble backgrounds. Some of them are immigrants, and the reason they've gotten further in life than the odds might have prescribed for them is because they were really hardworking, they had really great education. And so for them, the philosophy of investing behind something that will help other people achieve their dreams, and at the same time making sure that the investment does well, it sometimes trumps the just generic index fund, or trumps the we could all, nothing wrong with investing in the tobacco industry or alcohol industry or casino industry. I think every honest business is respectable, but it just attracts different investors, and it's just a lens through which you will look at the business world.
So with your activities, which regions are you currently investing in?
The companies that we invest in, they're located as their domicile is in Northern America and in Europe. We have companies that are in Geneva, Switzerland, which is why I'm here today. We have a company in London. We have schools in Washington, D.C. and Virginia, in Southern California, in Arizona and New Mexico, in Silicon Valley, in North Carolina. So we are quite spread all over the globe. What is also uniquely interesting about UBIS, which is the school that is located here in Geneva, Geneva obviously have this amazing reputation of the international melting pot. And the reputation for Swiss quality, particularly Swiss quality in education, what UBIS does is through a very unique business model, they bring that very education to the countries, let me call them a developing world, people who aspire to build, have wonderful smarts, great ambitions, and UBIS is fueling that next generation that will rebuild the countries. And so UBIS has footprints in Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Vietnam, Tunisia, China, just to name a few, and I probably am not naming all of them. Today, I'm here because tomorrow UBIS will have its graduation. It's a very celebratory event. You ask why investors want to invest in education. One of the reasons is a lot of people come to these graduations and you want to cry when you hear someone who had no one graduation I've attended personally that made me tear was a single mom with 4 kids who at some point decided that she's going to pull herself by the bootstraps and make a better life for her children. She studied literally out of the closet, and she graduated with a master's degree in nursing, transitioning from being on the welfare to making a 6-digit salary. And when you help accomplish transitions like that, that is something that is meaningful, that generates great returns, because this is some place where people need that education, but on the other hand, you've done something that changed this world for the better. So tomorrow, with UBIS, we're going to have 60 Vietnamese master's degree graduates who flew from Vietnam to Geneva to walk our graduation. That is meaningful, and I think that will change a life, that will differentiate those people in what they can accomplish in life. And it's a good place to be.
Very impressive. So you just mentioned these are companies. So universities are normally seen as traditional institutions. So in your point of view, what do these traditional universities lack in terms of their organization and structure? What do your companies do better?
I would call some of them are companies and some of them are institutions. It's semantics in a way, whether you call them one or the other. What we would like to be known for is innovation and student intimacy. By principle, we do not have any classes that run in our schools that have more than 15 to 20 students. So your professor is guaranteed to know your name. You are guaranteed to be educated by someone who will care intimately. If you were to go to our school, you would go to drinks with your professor. The professor, if you would be struggling with your assignment, he would stay and help you master that. And that is something that is quite unique and different. And parents, when they come and they walk into our small classrooms, at first they're shocked. But then once it sinks in, and I've had this one gentleman who brought his son who had struggled to achieve his educational objectives in other schools. And when he saw the classroom, he first was amazed, this is your biggest classroom? So we said, yeah, this is our biggest classrooms. And then he was almost ready to walk out of the door, and then he turned and the light bulb went on. And he said, my son will be sure to learn. There is no way, if he cannot learn in this classroom, he cannot learn anywhere, because this is something, he will not be a unit. He will be a person, and he will have to listen, and someone will know that he was late for class or he did not bring his homework. So that makes it very individual. So as we approach these global partnerships, what we're trying to carry with us is that intimacy of delivery. We are not teaching units, we are not teaching numbers, we are teaching students, and we know their names.
Dr. Oksana Malysheva, thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure. It's great to be here, Daniel. Good luck.
And thank you for watching. Do make sure to keep clicking back on the Dukascopy TV website for latest updates and exclusive interviews. Have a great day and see you next time.